Join the team.
Hey team, it's McGuire Review, and we're going to take a look at some new products coming out of Paizo. Again, there was a video we just recently did that showed a whole spread of a lot of different awesome products coming out both for the Pathfinder and the Starfinder IP from Paizo. But this I want to dive into is just their awesome flip tiles as well as their wet or dry erase. Actually, these are permanent marker erase as well, mats that they have. So we have two of them here for Pathfinder. We're going to open those up and look at them. We have a smaller set here for Starfinder, which are flip tiles. It contains 24 full color map tiles. And as well, on these, they are wet, dry, and permanent marker erase from the tiles. So that is just really cool. They're also double-sided, so you have a front and a back. You can create a lot of different environments just with the single pack. And that's what's nice about these flip tiles. The maps generally are going to be a certain type of environment. Obviously, you can reuse them for lots of different things. But these map tile flip packs and the tile packs we have here, these go a long way. You can create a lot of different types of environments just by putting them together in different ways. And again, they're double-sided. Then here for Pathfinder, a little bit of a larger set here. It's called Storm the Castle. Same thing, it's front and back. And they are also a wet, dry, and permanent marker erase from the tiles. You get 42 of them in this one. Again, this Starfinder one has got 24. Yes, 24 in the Starfinder, but you get 42 here in this Pathfinder box. So let's go ahead and open up our maps here first. I'm going to set these right over here. Actually, I'm going to set them right over here. So you can take a look at those. While we're getting these up, we will pull out the tiny bone shiv of death, and we'll get into these maps here. I really like to see, these companies producing these types of things to go along with their adventures, because obviously Paizo has Pathfinder and Starfinder, and they produce the books. We've done a number of videos on those. But then coming to the table and providing sort of the tool set to be able to use as well is something that's pretty awesome. Now, it does have a little fold, little portfolio thing fold here that it fits into. You could definitely keep that. I actually would recommend keeping it because it does have that, slick, nice outer edge to it. It's a thick piece of paper, and it will, protect if you want to keep this protected and fold it back up. Put it in a folder or binder or however you want to store these. So I would recommend keeping this, not just chucking this in the trash. It's almost kind of a little case for it. And then we have the mat here. Now, this one is from the Malevolence new book that is out. So we will open this up. Now, they are obviously, like any other mat, going to have those creases right out of the gate. And those might feel a little bit more defined than a standard battle map at first. Let's get this out of the way. Than a battle map at first. And the reason is because this is a very, you can see, this is a very thick piece of paper. This isn't like a standard battle map. You can imagine taking a standard battle map and wrapping it in 2 or 3 pieces of plastic. I mean, this is a thicker mat and board. And, those creases are going to come out. You can see already, just laying out here for this period of time, when you kind of push on it a little bit, the creases are already starting to lay and the map is already starting to lay flat. Now, after a little bit, these are going to go away, especially if you have it out for play. Another thing you can look into doing if you're having a group come over and you want this to be nice and flat, just lay some books, little bit of weight on it. Those creases will go right away and you'll be good to go. But again, if you just let it sit there, it will naturally kind of flatten out. Okay, so you can see how large this area is. You got a whole inside area here, outer court area. This is all part of kind of a horror-themed story is what this map goes with. So this is going to go right along with that specific book and that story. However, you could reuse this for anything that you want. It's basically a large, courthouse type, setup, a large area with some outdoor area as well. So you could reuse this for about anything. And then on the other side here, something very similar, where we now have the inside of, let's see, it is, yes, it looks like it's the inside of the same yeah, it's the same area, but then it's changed up, and now we've got like, looks like basically a murder scene has happened inside this house. So you've got two versions of what you're going to see inside that house on this one. And again, that's our first flip mat. Here on the second one, and I will have to say this one here is definitely my favorite. And the reason to that is it's highly reusable, and I absolutely love the just the design of it. The fact that it's this island that's it's kind of out in the ocean, surrounded by water, and you've got your now this one's folded a little different. Interesting. I'm not sure why, but that one was folded a little bit different. Let me see. 1, 2. Oh, it's because it's actually larger. Okay, so this is a really big map. I didn't realize that. So this map here, the island, is huge. It's quite a bit larger than the standard size map there. I would say it's about it's probably around 2.5 to 3. It's probably about 3 inches wider, and it's significantly longer. It's probably about that much longer. So you can see how big that map is, and wow, it's just awesome. And when you look at the quality of the print on these maps, and it really shines on the ones that have the brighter, lighter colors, you can just see the quality, like the little rocks and pebbles, and how the water is kind of splashing up on the edge there and through the boat, little river area where you can kind of cross right here. I absolutely love this map. I mean, you've got this little, whatever this is, you can interact with, and you got different treasure chests and rocks and little crossings for streams. I mean, you could just set up all kinds of cool situations that could go down. Kind of like a little idol over here on this little sub-island that can kind of go down in this environment. So very, very highly reusable. I love this map. It's probably one of my favorite. It's definitely one of my favorite ones. And then on this side, you've got kind of the darker themed island where it's not as bright and poppy. It's more of the dark browns and the greens. And same kind of situation, but sort of, this is probably something that would be more, it could be its own island in itself, right? You could actually have 2 different islands, or this could even be a different area of the same island that's more kind of on the inter part of the string of islands, where, this one is more kind of on those outer banks where the water would be a little bit more shallow and more see-through, and everything would be a little bit brighter and more lush. And then as you moved in, you'd get a little bit more of that traditional terrain as you moved kind of inward to that island. And where here you're going to have bridges over your stream crossings, and you're actually going to be higher up as well, because you can see all these bridges. They're really adding some height here along the edges of these. I don't know that I would necessarily say these are mountains, but they've definitely added this part here to give you some height of being up on the top here on this part. So what an awesome map. I mean, just super, super cool. And again, this one's just, I don't want to say generic, but it's just labeled Flip Mat Bigger Island. So, you can use this for a number of things. Absolutely amazing. So awesome. That right there is my favorite by far. Okay, so now we're going to go into the flip tiles that we have. We'll start with our Starfinder here. All right, we'll get into those. Probably should have went the other way with that. All right, so let's open this, and let's get these out of the way here. All right, so this is the City Alien Quarter Expansion is what this one is branded and called, and it is in its own little box as well. So again, I would recommend probably keeping the packaging, because then you can put the tiles right back in. But, that's up to you. Maybe you want to store a bunch of these all within one area, but you've got your packaging to put it right back in. All right, we're going to crack these because they are, again, kind of the same material. Going to be a little stuck together. All right, give them a flippy flop, and here we go, right? So this is what you're going to get. They're pretty straightforward, right? They're going to look just like the maps, but obviously cut up into these squares. So you'll see here on the front, you've got one environment, and then on the back, you've got another environment. So there's a lot of different things you can create. You can mix and match the fronts and the back. You can, you can use all the front sides or all the back sides. And there's all kinds of different things you'll find on these tiles. You'll find little terminals, right? Like an example of that is right here. There's like a little computer terminal that's right here. There's something over here, like some little, who knows what this is, some kind of console or something you have to interact with to maybe unlock a door or drop a force field. So there's a number of things that you're going to find on these tiles that's going to allow you to create really rich and robust experiences for your players, okay? And I'm just kind of putting these out random, so it might look a little wild in how I'm putting it out, but you could obviously start to put these out where, all the water was together, and you could create pretty much anything that you would want to create, okay? So that's what you're going to get here with these tabletop tiles. Just awesome. It works so well to be able to very quickly build, different robust environments for your players as you're going through your adventure that you've created. Okay, here's the Pathfinder Storm the Castle ones. I was really interested in these. You get 42 of them in here. So you got that box. Now this is interesting. It's got something a little bit different down here at the bottom. Okay, very cool. So here you have all of your tiles. All right, but in this one you actually got some organization dividers that are in here as well. And you can just write right on there exactly what it is. So maybe it's like outer courtyard or inner courtyard or a specific room. Or maybe you can even just use these to prep and plan for how you want to run your players through the adventure. So it might be, Act 1, Act 2, or Side Mission 1, or different encounters that you can actually have already and prepped and on these cards, and then just be able to go right to the one that you need and pull the tiles that you need. So that was really nice that they included something like this. That's pretty cool. And then here are the tiles themselves. You'll see each one of the tiles with the front as well as the back, so they got different environments. This one here just looks to be more like kind of an inside inner court area, but you can see there that you've got maybe the side of like a building that's running down. It's more than likely what these are for. And they're all labeled as well, so you can tell how to basically put these together, like which ones go together. So O2A, let's see, O1A, O2A, O3A. So it tells you kind of how you can build and put these together. All right, so we can go through all of those. And what you're going to pretty much find in this set, it is going to be more of kind of a standard looking set from the perspective of comparing it to something like this, okay? Right, this environment is being inside of this fortress. So you are going to get a lot of these tiles where you're kind of like building out the inner court with the outside of that fortress. You're going to get things like this where you've got like staircases where you can go up and down. You're going to get just kind of more open areas. There's also some areas that look a little bit different from the stone that are here. You've got more of like a cobblestone area as well, and maybe that's further outside that fortress courtyard. There's tons of things that you can set up and how you can do this when you're creating these environments. Okay, so that is all of the brand new flip tiles that we've got from Paizo, both for Starfinder as well as Pathfinder, and a couple new awesome maps. I highly recommend these tools for any GM or DM at that would want to create a rich environment for their players and not have to go out and buy a bunch of terrain or build a bunch of fancy models. I mean, all that stuff is really cool, and if you have the time to do it for your players and you're a hobbyist from that perspective, then sure, that stuff is eye candy. It's fun, right? It adds a lot of flair to the experience. But having these maps like this and letting yourself have even maybe a little bit more of that theater of the mind, but just having the maps in a way that you can easily see where people are positioned in the encounter. You can easily see where things are, and you get a little bit of a feel for the environment that you're in, and then you can let your mind kind of create the rest. I think these are absolute fantastic tools for that at a fairly low price point for how much reusability and how long these things are going to last, how much use you're really going to get out of them. All right, so hit that like, hit the subscribe below to join the team. Keep rolling them crits. This has been the McGuire Review, and we'll see you next time.